I'm Marc of Circa 1886. This is our second installment in our video podcast. And the spring has finally sprung and summer is here, and the warm weather is great because us chefs enjoy getting in different produce and items that we like to explore during these months that we can't get in the winter and the colder months. So today I'd like to kind of go over some of those items and show you how we use them on our new menu. We try and get as many produce items as we can locally, obviously. We have some green Vidalia onions, which are a little bit different than the round bulbs you see at the store. This is more like a green onion. It's the larger bulb, very sweet onion. And we slice these in half and sear them in a cast iron pan and serve this with one of our antelope dishes. It's allowed to kind of roast in the oven until it gets very soft and tender. And it obviously heightens the sugar in it. We obviously have fresh melons, which we use in our trio of soups this time around. We have a seedless watermelon, the cantaloupe, and the honeydew, all of which are great and in season right now and have wonderful flavors. We have fresh okra that's coming into season as well. We use that grilled on our grouper dish. We have fresh avocados, which we make a lobster salad with obviously these fresh tomatoes that we have in, nice yellow tomato, red Roma tomatoes. Figs from California are in season now, so we're using those. We basically tempura batter these and fry them and serve them on top of a pork chop. We have king trumpet mushrooms, which actually kind of grow year-round. They're grown just like most vegetables are. And we get them, and they're really steaky and taste very good grilled, so we grill those and serve them on a salad. We also have some green leaf lettuce and some red Lola Rosa, which make a nice crispy, crunchy salad. We also have fava beans that are in season. Fava beans came to us after World War II. A lot of the men that were fighting over there came across these and ate them a lot and brought them to the United States, kind of enjoyed them over there. And I'll show you a few of the items we have on the menu now that we use these ingredients for. The first one I'm going to introduce to you is our lobster salad. It has fresh cooked lobster, Maine lobster, that's wonderful in the summertime. It can be boiled, it can be fried, it can be grilled, steamed. We cook that and serve that with a nice bee pollen vinaigrette. We have fresh avocado and tomatoes all packed together in a cylindrical mold. And then it's served with corn shoots, which are basically like baby green corn, and then it's robbed of sunlight, it turns it yellow. So you get these nice, beautiful colored shoots. The yellow one tastes a little bit more like popcorn, has a nice butteriness to it. This is a little bit more bolder corn flavor. And then we take a piece of applewood smoked bacon and caramelize it by dredging it in sugar and putting it in a 400-degree oven until all the sugar is caramelized on the bacon, so it gets very crispy and sweet. And all these components work very well together. Our next dish is our organic green salad. We have again the Lola Rosa and the field greens and a little bit of organic watercress. Also those grilled trumpet mushrooms that we talked about, put next to some poached baby beets. And then we serve that with a black-eyed pea vinaigrette, which is basically fresh blanched black-eyed peas tossed into an olive oil vinaigrette. A little bit of fresh cracked pepper on the plate. And lastly, we have our soup trio, which consists of the 3 melons we talked about. We have cantaloupe with 12-year balsamic and country ham. We have our watermelon, which also comes with a fresh cucumber soup next to it. The two work very well together, and it's served with a cilantro gelée made of pureed cilantro that's been juiced and put through a strainer. And we take that and add some gelatin to it to make a nice kind of textural difference in it. And then lastly, we have our honeydew soup, which is served with a vanilla and pickled ginger oil. And all those flavors really come together in each dish singularly. So start with the light and kind of work your way around and try them all.
Hi, I'm Scott Lovorn, Executive Pastry Chef here at Circa 1886. Here to talk to you today a little bit about one of our spring summer dessert items we have on the menu and some of the ingredients involved in it. For this particular item, what I've decided to feature is the plantation rice, which is indigenous to Charleston. Ground the old-fashioned way or milled the old-fashioned way, so a lot of the kernels of the rice are actually broken down, which allows for a lot more flavor to be extracted. First off, what we're going to do is try to extract this flavor into the cream for our panna cotta. So basically what we're going to do, we've got 3 cups of heavy cream to place in a pot. I'm also going to add a cup of milk. And typically panna cottas are mostly all cream, but because of the richness of the rice and the starchiness, it kind of thickens it a bit on its own. So I'm going 3 parts cream, 1 part milk. I'm also going to add to that about 6 ounces of granulated sugar. Once again, rice has a little bit of sweetness of its own, so I've reduced the sugar from a typical panna cotta for this dish. And to that, I'm going to add about 1.25 cups of plantation rice. This I'm going to go place on the stove, and I'm going to steep it. I'm going to bring it to a boil, stir it a little bit to get the rice off the bottom, and mix in some of the sugar. Then I'm going to reduce it to a low simmer. And let that simmer for about 10 to 12 minutes, definitely before the rice gets done completely. We want the rice to remain semi-firm or al dente, or maybe even on the rawer side of al dente. This will aid in the straining process so that it's not so gelatinous and won't clog your strainer up. So like I said, this rice, after it's steeped for 10 or 12 minutes, I just kind of let it sit off the heat and infuse the rest of that flavor. At this point, what we're going to do is strain out the rice. So we're going to pass that through a fine strainer. And had the rice been fully cooked, this would kind of be clogging up your strainer right now and make it very difficult to strain. But because it's still firm, the liquid can pass out quite easily. You want to go ahead and stir that really good in your strainer to get all the juices. Maybe put a little pressure on it to force some of that rice cream out. Came up with this idea for this dish. I've always liked the flavor of rice puddings, but the texture is sort of a turnoff to a lot of people, especially in the South. This way we get the flavor, kind of like a Rice Krispie treat, which everybody loves, without the texture. So it's nice, smooth, and creamy. You still get the intense flavor of the rice. So at this point, to make it a panna cotta, we want to set it up. And you're going to do that using gelatin. I prefer to use sheet gelatin as opposed to the powdered gelatin. It's just a little bit easier to use. All you have to do is hydrate it in a little bit of cold water. You want to use a little bit of ice in this to keep it from melting down. So since this cream's already warm, all we have to do is drop the hydrated gelatin in and stir it up. So at this point, the gelatin's dissolved. This could be easily poured into any container, and it will set up in the refrigerator just like Jell-O or anything like that. You get the consistency kind of in between a creme brulee, somewhere along that line. So it's not totally gelatinous. It's just kind of a nice firm creaminess to it. So I've chosen to pair this dish up with blackberries and lemon, being nice fresh spring summer flavors. This is our panna cotta. As you can see, the white cream, and I've paired it with the blackberry gelée, which is a very similar item, gelée and panna cotta, both set up with gelatin. Panna cotta being it's just a cream-based gelatin. The gelée is actually a fruit-based gelatin. So I've taken blackberry puree and sweetened it slightly with a little bit of citrus hints here and there. Added some sugar and layered it finally with the panna cotta. Set it up individually. So the cream would be set first, followed by the gelée, and then back and forth. So you have to go in and out of the fridge several times to achieve this. On this dish, we paired it with some nice homemade blackberry jam, some fresh blackberries, some dried lemon zest, some candied lemon zest, and also we have a rice flour lemon financier, which is basically just a small tea cake. It's got brown butter in it. Also used some rice flour, like I said, in addition to the regular flour, and some ground Rice Krispies, believe it or not, just to give it a little bit of crunch in the middle. So this is our fresh rice-inspired southern dish using Charleston's own rice. Hope you've enjoyed this and hope you'll come see us.